Elaine here, Elaine Bartlett, and you are tapped into the Purple Portal. And those portals are going to open largely and beautifully for you today, because I think I'm going to just pick up right about where I left off last week. And if memory serves me, I left off trying to remind you of how important your role is in life, how important your every breath is, how important your showing up is, even if you sit in a rocking chair on the front porch and simply rock. Your presence holds a frequency for the entire tapestry known as planet Earth. So not only are you important, which of course is usually undermined and diminished, unfortunately, by those around us who supposedly love us, but it's also diminished these days by the frantic pace of life itself, or every system that's in place that's hell-bent on tearing you down and not reminding you of the heavenness that you are. You know, heaven is actually a Greek word that simply means harmony. So when we fall out of harmony, we've actually fallen out of the sensation of heaven, which is a warm, embraceable, wonderful feeling. So on that note, I'm going to remind you that you are welcome to contact me several different ways. And many of you did connect with me over the week, and I'm going to address that in a moment because I'm so appreciative, and it makes it much more interactive. This is your show. I'm pointing out new ideas for you, or sometimes very ancient ideas that perhaps you've forgotten, or they've slipped and slid in your life. So you can reach me via my website, which is higherconsciousness.com. And that higher echoes the hierarchy. So it's HIERCONSCIOUSNESS, higherconsciousness.com. Many of you have reached out via email, purpleportal777 at gmail.com. So once again, purpleportal777, and those are just the numbers, at gmail.com. And also today, I encourage you to call in with thoughts and questions and reflections, even gripes. You're welcome to call in with your gripes at this. The number at the station here is 321-806-3159. So it's 321-806-3159. All right, I want to first off give you the message for today. The message for today is actually opening. It's all about opening your heart to love. And, you know, there's two portals in your heart. There's actually the front portal and the back portal. The front portal has to do with giving, and the back portal has to do with receiving. So I'm encouraging you to open both portals. If you're not a good receiver, you can't be a good giver. So you've got to be able to do both. And the message for the week is practice, allow, and encourage within yourself and those around you, really, especially if there's children. Encourage an expanded opening of the heart center so that you and they can operate more fully from that rich place. We'll call it love. We'll call it the place of enlightenment. We'll call it the inner voice, the sacred place. I don't care what you call it, but it's that opening to one another. I'm also going to ask you to consider carefully the value of dropping the word hate and hatred from your vocabulary. And I'm going to talk about that in a second, too. Many of you are feeling a sense of overwhelm. Now, this is actually part of the message of the week. So it's already been identified that you're feeling a sense of overwhelm with life and either what you've been given or that which you see happening around you. That's recognized. And even as you experienced mixed emotions and upheaval on the physical plane, you're asked to trust that every step you are taking is actually inwardly prompted and it is correct, in spite of the sense of this enormous overwhelm. You're also being given opportunities. See, there's many openings this week. Why would that be? We've got a full moon tomorrow. So there's many openings that lead you into unique perspectives. You can see below the surface, which will allow you to gain a much deeper understanding of what is taking place. And it applies to your life, but to your understanding of other people as well. So this week, would you please look to be able to see the smallest detail and the energetic pattern of what is occurring? Don't skim over life. Will you really begin to participate in it? This way, you can see the consequences, both positive and negative, of everything that's happening, of every one of your decisions, and where these decisions will lead you. This will give you the ability to offer sound counsel to others and to lead your own life in a healthy, very right direction. So this week I would say the message is all about the portals that are open for you, opening the heart, opening your thinking, and pay attention to any opening, no matter how it appears, because sometimes the opening could appear to really give you some trigger points, which if you look at the triggers, what was triggered, you can adjust things and insist on keeping that heart open. So that's the message. Now I want to talk about last week's message, which it seemed to be that it addressed the ability to communicate with other, seemingly other dimensions, although it's really all one. So it was messages from those that you love that have crossed over to the other side of the veil. Oddly, this veil is imaginary, but it is in place. It's a paradox. It's imaginary, and yet because mass consciousness believes it's in place, it's therefore challenging for most people to see right through the veil to those that are in a different frequency. Soon, I believe, if you have a child that's studying in California and you're in New York, you have that ability to actually see that child remotely. I actually know of a few people who are already doing this. It's called remote viewing. So my contention is if I can see you, I'm living in Florida and you're in Arizona, remotely I do have that ability to see you. And what's the difference whether you're in Arizona or so-called you have passed over? So many of you were very deeply touched last week because apparently you'd been waiting for messages, hopefully from people who have crossed over and felt comforted by the idea that, maybe they are saying hello. So I assure you, they haven't gone anywhere, and they are right in your spectrum of vision. And the next message, well, that was it on messages. Now, again, you're welcome to call in if you have any comment on the message of this week or last week's message, 321-806-3159. All right. Last week, I seem to have had a great deal of fluffment within inside myself about the topic of torn jeans. And that was triggered by driving past a school district where the mommies were walking to pick up their little children. It really didn't trigger anything in me except a great sorrow for them, because now this is a huge, probably judgment or opinion on my part, but I'm trying to be authentic about what it triggered and why. You may have no such trigger, so we all have to allow the other one's trigger without being too twisted by it or try to convince them, no, you can't think like that. This set up in me a sorrow because I have a deep, deep appreciation that one of the aspects of whatever consciousness is, or awareness, or presence, or God, or whatever you want to call it, it is beauty and cleanliness and a sense of harmony. So everyone last week, well, not everyone, but so many people seemed to be discordant. Well, today I drove past the exact same school. I'm telling you what, I think energetically they all got the memo, because I'm sure none of them are really listening to the radio station. This week, it's as if everyone actually cared about themselves. That's all I want. Care about yourself. You are a full expression of God. So that's why I get a little complexed or perplexed or whatever I get. So this week, not only was no one wearing jeans, they all looked, I don't know, nicely put together, calm and peaceful. So I just had to chuckle, and I had to share that with you. So I have a caller on the line. Hi there. Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Elaine?
Yeah.
Elaine?
Yes, hi there. Who's this?
Hi. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm having a little trouble hearing you, but I had a couple comments. One was about the clothing that you talked about, and I found that I appreciated the fact that you said, that was just your, something that just triggered you.
That's right.
And because I was thinking, back in the days when the young kids, and they called the kids hippies and things because of the long hair.
Yep.
It didn't conform to society.
Yep.
And it triggered people, and they didn't like it. Now, of course, long hair is all over the place with boys and girls.
Yep.
And I thought this whole idea with clothes and the holes is just simply clothing. It's just a fashion statement, whether it looks good or not. It's just people expressing themselves. And then I thought on the positive side, people who normally have holes in their clothes because they can't afford it are now stylish.
Yes, that's true too. I think where I was coming from, it was I'm so wanting each person to care about themselves. And if this is their expression of caringness, then I honor it. I guess because even as a child, I felt badly for people.
You know what, Elaine? I may have to call you back because my connection's not good with you.
Okay. All righty.
All right.
Try
Thank
again.
You.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
But as I was saying, some of us as a kid, something's gone in. It's a programming that I just always felt badly for those that couldn't have clothing that wasn't torn. Now, that does not imply that I grew up in the lap of luxury. Anything but. I grew up in a very simple, humble home. But everything always was mended and clean and pressed. So it's just my programming. So I'm trying to drop the fact that I really give a hoot because whatever is perfectly fine. So that's kind of the update on the torn jean situation.